Christine just wanted to have a film where it was about her brother and who he was as a person, and not as just an autistic person. So she wanted you to know that he had the same dreams and desires as all of us.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a good premise for a documentary. And then we had to sort out how to make it not like the other documentaries we'd seen about autism. So one day we saw some great animations, and we came up with the idea of the animation. Thing is, these animations are really about him, because he loves cutouts, as you can see. He actually takes stuff out of encyclopedias and magazines. So we used that as the premise for our animations. So we would use cutouts. And so the film is actually designed around his personality, as you can see.
Okay.
And yeah, and then he started mimicking emotions one day to her while we were filming. And that's when I said to her, that's the spine of the film. We're going to put him up against the graffiti wall, and we're going to make him mimic emotions, because that's how he does it. He can't really, he kind of understands anger and frustration, but he can't really fully express it. So he does a mimic of it, as you can see.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
And, how was his reaction when you show it to him, the movie?
This is a difficult question because autistic people don't have the same reactions as we do. He's not going to look at you and say, "Oh, I love it," or "Oh, that was me." She showed it to him privately because it would be too hard for him to have a bunch of people around him. And all he said to her after it was done was, "Yeah, that was me. I was there." And she said, "What did you think of it?" He goes, "Yeah, I was there. I know." So you can't really say that he liked it or didn't like it. That's not the way he would express it. But I would say that the most amazing part is a lot of these autism groups have bought our film back in Canada, and they've had screenings with Christine and her brother. And the amazing part is a lot of these autistic people have come up to him and treat him like a rock star. Yeah. So they're sort of amazed by him, and they want to talk to him, and it's really cool because she said there was this one girl who was really kind of cute, and she came up to him and she was kind of flirting with him, because he didn't really know that, but she thought he, in some way, the best thing about it is he gets to interact with other people. And he really wants to interact with other people. And as you can see, the problem is it's impossible for him neurologically to interact with you. But inside is a human being who has the same thoughts and desires as you do. And it's just hard for him to get it out of his mouth, you know? So it's been fantastic for them. And you know, when people ask her about her brother, she can just show the film instead of having to explain it to people.
So. Yeah, great.
Questions?
Why did it take so long that we can see this film? 2009 is 7 years ago.
I didn't really come to Berlin until recently, and which is too bad. It was shown in Europe a couple of times, actually in Switzerland. It's traveled parts of Germany and France, I believe, and also India and Thailand. So it has a life when people discover it. I would say that when we released it 5 years ago, and this sounds very strange, but using animation to show interior lives was very unusual 5 years ago. I know it's hard to believe now because all I see are animations out there. But it was actually shocking 5 years ago for some people to see us use animation in this way. And also, I think there was sort of this range of what we call pity films about autistic people, and this was a bit unusual. And when you do something a little bit unusual, people aren't sure how to take it. And so when it was first released, it took about a year or 2 years before people discovered it in Europe and in the US. And it has more of a life probably about 3 or 5 years later. than when we released it. So we have a website, travelswithmybrother.com, and you can stream it for $2.99 Canadian, which for Europeans, it's like
Like 20 cents.
it's like €1, you guys. So it's a real bargain.
Yeah, exactly. That's the spirit. Tell people to go there, pay 20 cents in European, and
Or buy me a donor.
exactly. But no, definitely, that's the thing. If you spread around, maybe there's other they want to show it and maybe buy it. That's the thing. How do you follow that? How do you do another thing?
Well, there's a secret website called Citizen Autistic, and about 2 years ago, we tried to do an interactive film. So we used him again, and we filmed him in a park, interacting with people, having a hot dog. And then we won some money in a pitch for an interactive. So we made a very basic interactive film where you could experience how he experienced the park in an afternoon. So you click on it, and then there's little indications on the film where you can click on like the hot dog, and then something will come up where he explains to you how he experiences a hot dog, or a sausage thing. And so, do you want to know how he experiences the sausage? It's like, this is pornographic. It's not. He thinks of the sausage as Polish, so he thinks of the movie director Roman Polanski. So so when you click on the hot dog, he's explaining to you about Roman Polanski and Polish and stuff like that. So we did an interactive project, and that was 2 years ago, and it's very basic. We don't tell too many people about it, but I think you can Google it and find it. But it was a way of, extending it further. How do you experience someone's autism? And, how he experiences the world is so different from us. So that project was fun, but it was hell to do. And if you have to do digital stuff, it takes so long. It takes a lot of money and it takes too long.
Is there no support for this kind of project? I mean, there's a benefit for all of us,
Yeah.
because many people don't know
We'd
much
love
about
to.
it.
We'd love to do it. There was a time in Canada over the last 9 years, which I call the dark years, where there was a focus on getting profits back from the arts. So when we proposed an interactive project, everyone said we had to make it a video game. So in order to make a profit. And we felt this was wrong. And we left the project, we couldn't do it. So the last few years, digital projects in Canada have been focused on apps and video games, not on experimental stuff like us. So, there's a new government and everything, but I think it's almost too late for us to develop this, I'm not sure. But now that I'm in Berlin, perhaps I can find some money here, I don't know.
No issue.
Thank you.
Yeah, travelwithmybrothers.com.
Yes.
That's the website, but you find it also through the Boddinale program. There are all the links. If you happen to know someone that knows someone that knows someone, just put them in touch. So we have a next one. Thank you. Before we go on pause, just last thing, we have a community.